bondsman here. I got a little drive time story. I think I might start doing these, once a week or so, because in 17 years, I got a lot of crazy stories on stuff I encountered in the bonding business. Probably going to use, names like John Doe, Jane Doe, because I don't want to be calling people out, but got some pretty cool stories. So, one of my more interesting hunts, bounty hunting, is a young blonde-headed girl. She was probably maybe 23 at the time. Anyway, we bonded her out locally, and by the time her court date come around, of course, we weren't doing our due diligence. We weren't making sure she checked in every week like she was supposed to. Sometimes people slip through the cracks, and it happens. Anyway, so we get a warrant in the mail, or NISI is actually what pertains to us, judgment NISI. So we get it in the mail, and we start looking for this girl. So I call her. That's the first step. Give her a call. Say, hey, you missed court. Let us get you another court date. We'll get you back in front of a judge. We'll let the judge know that you missed on accident. No big deal. We're here for you. That's our job. We're bondsmen. Putting people back in jail is an unfortunate side effect to the job, but that's not our primary goal. Our primary goal is to keep people out of jail. So she's like, okay, no problem. Let me call you in a couple of days, get things situated, and I'll give you a call. I'm like, okay. So, of course, a couple of days goes by. We don't hear from her. Call her phone number. The number's disconnected. Now it's time to start knocking on doors. So we go to the apartments that she was living in with her boyfriend at the time, and knock on the door. And we talk to him, and he's like, man, the day you called, she went and borrowed money from so-and-so for a bus ticket out of here. I don't know where she went. Like, oh, crap. So we go to the bus station. We talk to the bus station clerk, and they tell us, well, she got a ticket to Oklahoma. I can't remember the name of the town, but there's a pretty popular Army base where this town is. So anyway, we load up, head up to Oklahoma, because that's where she's from. Her mama lives there, her siblings live there. I always say, when you're looking for somebody, they always go to mama. So we get up there, and of course the mom is no help whatsoever. She's like closing the door in our face. She's like, to heck with y'all, man. I ain't helping you. Yeah. At first they're like, I don't know where she is. I haven't heard from her. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, lady, she got a bus ticket up here. Why else would she come here if not to be with family? And then it turned into, well, I'm not helping you. You're law enforcement. I don't help law enforcement. Like, well, we're not law enforcement, but we can help her. So she wasn't buying it. Whatever. We go to a couple of more addresses, and we determine while we're in Oklahoma, she's around, but now that we're in town, she's not going to go to her mom's house. So we go ahead and call it quits and come home. Well, we decide it's time to head back up there, and we head up there, try to do a little surprise visit, hoping to catch her, and we miss her by like 5 minutes. One of the neighbors told us that she was there a few minutes ago. Well, we're out of state. We're the mama's address isn't on any applications anywhere. We don't have authority to force entry on this house. We didn't see her in the house. We didn't see her go in the house. So we can't kick down the door and go search the house on it. Gut feeling. That's how you wind up in jail. So we spent like 2 weeks in Oklahoma watching the mom's house and the sister's house, seeing if she shows up. And this girl is just gone. So I get a call from an anonymous person, says she's in St. Cloud, Minnesota. We do some checking around and we head out to St. Cloud because we feel like the information is viable. We get out to St. Cloud, get with the local police department, and they're really helpful, but we can't find anything to lead us to this girl. We know who she's working for. She's basically working for a con company, you know, the people that do your driveways. You know, they'll come by and do a crap job on a pavement asphalt driveway and then charge you like 10 times what they said they would charge you. One of those companies. So we try to track that company down, and the detective we were working with was actually familiar with the company and said that they had basically run them out of St. Paul or St. Cloud. So they weren't around there anymore, supposedly, but you know how those companies operate. Well, we call it a day, head back to Mississippi. Then I get another call, and this is going on over the span of like 2 years. We get another call that she's in Illinois, and the company that she's based out of operates out of Illinois, just across the bridge. That sucks, because you don't just go to Illinois and get somebody. But nonetheless, I loaded up and I headed up to Illinois, me and a couple guys. So our goal in Illinois, if they'll get in the car and come with you freely, then you're good. But if you go and put handcuffs on somebody, you're gonna be in a bind. So we find the hotel they're living at. The guy that she's living with, which was some sort of foreman for this company or something. All their trucks were there at the hotel. Anyway, we go to the hotel, knock on the door, and he opens the door, and he is living there. I mean, this hotel room is set up. Pictures on the wall, you know, big screen TV, apparently his own bed, I'm assuming, because it didn't look like a hotel bed. Anyway, he's obviously been there for a while, and I asked about the girl we're looking for, and he's like, yeah, she left like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, well, we're from Mississippi. He's like, oh, you're those guys. So he gives me her phone number, and I call her. Of course, he had already called her by the time I had a chance to call her. And the thing about this girl is every time we'd get a good phone number on her, as soon as she heard my voice, she would throw the phone out the window and go buy another one. I mean, she didn't want to take any chances that I could use her phone to track her down. But I talked to her for like 30 seconds, and I heard the phone hit the ground, going down the road. And then I could hear cars going by. I was like, well, great. We're up here in Illinois. Oh, so anyway, we decide, well, that's it. She's going to disappear. She's going to ghost. So we might as well head back to Mississippi. So we start heading south. We're in a motorhome, and the gas pump goes out on the motorhome. All right, there's me, 2 other agents, one of the other agents' wives, and a motorhome that's broke down about 2 hours south of where we were at. So I called one of my agents locally that was still in Mississippi. I'm like, hey man, I need you to grab a car, run up here, let the people that are with me go back to Mississippi in the car, and you stay here with me. No problem. So he ran up there. So we decided the RV is going to be down for like 3 days while we wait on it to be fixed. So we ran back up to a hotel that was next to the hotel that they were staying in so we could do surveillance. Well, I decided to call the chief of police. Now this is where it becomes painfully obvious that we are not law enforcement. I call the chief of police of this little town and I say, hey, I needed to see if you guys have had contact with this person. He's like, oh yeah, I know who she is. Had contact with her several times. Even picked her up on the warrant you're talking about once. And your people refused to extradite. I'm like, what? They refused? Man, it's a big bond. So I call down to the court she was supposed to be in, talk to the DA, and I'm like, hey, if we can get our hands on this girl, will you lift the extradition limit? And the DA's like, no, I won't do it. I'm like, dude, I'm responsible for the extradition costs. All you got to do is lift the limit so they can come get her. I can't put my hands on her. So he's like, no. So I call the chief back. I'm like, chief, they won't lift the extradition limit. Can you help me out? He said, are you up here? I said, no. He knew better. He said, okay, let me tell you a little story. One time these bounty hunters came into my town and they kicked down the door and they got their guy. Well, in the process, they ran into a meth lab and they did the right thing. They called us and we came out and we arrested everybody, bounty hunters, meth heads, meth cooks, everybody. He said, wouldn't you know that them bounty hunters got in more trouble than them meth heads did? I was like, okay, I get the picture, chief. I said, well, if I was in your town, you don't have to worry about me putting my hands on her. He said, that's good. Call me if you need me. So that was the end of that. I called my agent down, that handles that court, and I say, hey, I need you to go to the judge and tell the judge what's going on and see if he'll let me off the bond. So the agent goes down, tells him everything, play for play, because he was one of the agents that was with me that went back. So he calls me back and said, judge let us off the bond. It's like, oh, thank God. At the time, the judge that was over the case was a brand new judge and still had sympathy for bail bondsmen. Probably not the case anymore. So this is where the story gets funny. I go back to that hotel room just out of curiosity. I go back to that hotel room, knock on the door. I said, hey, I need you to call so-and-so. Tell her I'm not chasing her anymore. I'm no longer on her bond, and good luck. I kid you not, I didn't make it out of the hotel to my car, and that girl called me. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm done with you. I got off your bond. She's like, how? I said, it's just what I do. She's like, well, what do I need to do to take care of this? I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? You're calling me after all this to see what you need to do to take care of it. Now you want my help? Anyway, I'm like, you go to court. That's how you take care of it. If you're afraid to go to court, get a lawyer to go with you. Don't call your bondsman that spent thousands of dollars and weeks away from his family to help you. So she wound up telling me, and I don't know if this was the truth or not, but she wound up telling me the only reason she ran is because of the condition of the facility she would have had to go to. She said if it would have been the facility in the neighboring county, she would have turned herself in, but she was not about to go back to that facility because it was such, in her words, such a crap hole. I'm like, wow, all that because you didn't want to spend a few nights in a crap hole. You've been watching your back, looking over your shoulder, afraid to answer your phone, afraid to keep a phone number for any length of time, can't go visit your family. I don't understand these people that are so afraid to go to court that they completely cut everybody out of their life. Well, mostly. They never completely cut them out. But when 9 times out of 10, they're gonna wind up getting probation and walking out of court anyway. So, I guess prison would be scary. I wouldn't want to go to prison. I'm kind of pretty though. Anyway, I don't know if that was an interesting story or not, but I told it, so there you have it. Let me know what you think. It's Ben the Bondsman signing out.